Hey, good afternoon. Pat Zemer here with MagnaWave for the office hours. Been gone for a couple of weeks. I don't know if I look different to you today, but I am different. I'm not wearing any glasses. I've been wearing glasses for 40 years or almost 42 years, and I had cataract surgery over the last 2 weeks on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so it's kind of messed up my daytime activities for the last 2 weeks on those days. So I'm glad to be back. I'm seeing 20/20. I'm still having a little glare, I guess, from the surgery and everything that they did, but it's working out fine. I'm reading, as I said, 20/20, and I have to do this a little bit to make sure that I've got it, but it's better than when I used to have to go all over the place with my glasses because I wore trifocals, so I'm excited to be back. I will tell you that what I did, and I asked my doctor when I went in to do it, I said, this is what we do, and I'm going to treat myself when we do this. And so on the first eye, they did the surgery on Wednesday. I went back on Thursday, and I was seeing 20/40. He was very impressed with that pretty much overnight. Now, a lot of people have very good correction on the first night, but he was pretty impressed with how well I was doing there. And we got a text coming in, so that's a good thing. Let me make sure that's what that might be, if that is... Chats are showing. Oh, okay. Chats are showing. Good. We're glad to hear that. But at any rate, so I went back and I had treated myself the day of I waited because he told me, well, wait, give it a few hours and let's see how it does. And I said, okay. So surgery was completed like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I waited till 6 or 7 that evening and treated myself a couple of times before I went to bed. And here's what happened is I've had what felt like a foreign object, as they described it, or a rock in my eye. And I had it all day. When I started treating myself that evening, 6 or 7 o'clock, by 11 o'clock, when I took my last set of drops, 11 o'clock, got into bed, the foreign object was gone. Now, it was very prevalent through the whole day. And so I was very happy with that. Then when I went to the doctor the next day for my follow-up, my pressure was good. As I said, I was reading 20/40 at that point, and they were very pleased with that. The following week, I did it differently. I treated myself the night before, and I treated myself before I went into the doctor or in for the surgery that day, again at noon. When I came out and came home, I treated myself immediately, and the foreign object feeling was gone by mid-evening at that point. So the treating actually certainly helped relieve the inflammation and some of the stuff that was there as a result of the surgery. When I went in the next day, the following Thursday, to be checked, I was reading 20/40, almost 20/30 out of the left eye. And at that point, he said, you're really ahead of the curve. You're doing very well. You don't need to come see me next week. You need to come see me in 30 to 40 days. So he basically released me the next day because it was going so well. And I attribute a lot of that to the fact that I was using MagnaWave and the LZR. I'd use the MagnaWave and then I'd use the LZR from this direction. I came this way across my eye. I used the LZR a couple of times a day. And I've been very pleased. I haven't worn glasses since Saturday after my first surgery. By Saturday, which was 4 days out, my right eye was compensating enough that it was overpowering the left, and I was able to do things and go out and not wear my glasses. So I was very pleased with that. So that's the what's been going on with my eye surgery. Debbie is having the same thing. She started her first eye was Tuesday of this week, and she's doing very well, feeling very good, and she's also treating herself regularly. So we'll see how that goes when she does her second eye next week. She does it next Thursday. So that's my cataract comments or story for today. If you have any questions, certainly put them up and I'd be happy to answer them. And I did not start CastBox, so I'm starting CastBox now. And good morning, CastBox. We're glad to be here with you. Sorry you missed my cataract story, but that's okay. We'll catch up on that later. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions. Certainly, if you would, let's see, we've got a question here. Live viewer comments show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Click on the comments to show it on screen. Okay, I know how to do that. that was to me. Let me come up to comments. I'm not seeing any comments in in the comment stream, so they might be an issue. Let me come over here to Facebook, and we do have a text. Let me come back to this. Let's go to our text. Use the Restream link. I guess I messed up there to use the Restream link somewhere. I am in Restream, but I'm not seeing the comments. So I do need to go over here to Facebook, put it up and mute my speaker. All right. See if we're live on Facebook. I'm sorry for the confusion, but we'll get it squared away. Okay, here we go. And I know there's a delay, so I can't watch that screen. I want to figure that out as we go, but I'm waiting for it to come up. Here we go. Comments are there. Live questions. Perfect. Text your questions to 502-599-9722, and I'd be happy to call you back and have a conversation about what it is you want to talk about. Northern Lights with us. Hello, everyone. Dion's with us this morning. Sandy's with us this morning. Thank you. All right. So if you have a question, simply put it in the chat box there, and I'll come to it and try to pick it out. And I'm seeing much better, but I still have to come a little closer than I'm accustomed to doing. But it's really fine with no glasses. So again, text your questions to 502-599-9722, and I would be very happy to answer your questions and give you a call back and have a live conversation with you. A couple of things to talk about. I did see a question that was posted. Practitioner has there were some puppies, or there were some dogs. They were attempting to have pups, and they were not having any luck. So they MagnaWaved the female dog regularly, and all of a sudden they're with pup. But now there's a problem with the discs, and the dog is having a problem walking because they're having a disc issue, and they want to know if it's safe to treat. Well, I will come back to where we treated pregnant mares with horses that all of a sudden were having foundering problems, or were having hip problems so severe that they were going to go down, and if they went down, they may not survive. And so it's always a challenge there. And what we did in those situations, if the dog is at risk, and anyway, then you can treat the area, treat the back, and certainly talk about it with the veterinarian, but you're in a situation that you can go in, treat it very low. What we don't want to do is move the fetus. We don't want to move the puppy that's being born or that's developing around a lot. So, but you can treat at a very low, moderately low setting, so you're not creating a lot of pulsing in the animal, but you are going to be able to potentially help the back, relieve the inflammation, get them so they can be up and moving around and walking comfortably. And so, that's the question. You talk to the vet. Well, I don't know. It could be in Europe. I will tell you that with regard to pregnancy and treating, they treat a lot. It's more of a mainstream therapy in Europe, and so they don't step away necessarily from pregnant type situations. But that is in Europe. You need to deal with that with your doctors. But so it is something that you're not going to, by putting a coil on a dog that is breeding or with pup, you're not going to cause any imminent necessary right now problems to the development. That's not the case. We just want to be careful with the movement in the body from the pulsing, and we want to make sure that everything is comfortable. So that is certainly a situation to talk with your veterinarian, use their guidance, approach it in that type of fashion for the health of the dog that's pregnant, and the health of the puppies that they're going to have. So we want to make sure that that's successful and a good type situation. But again, it's always good in those situations to talk with your veterinarian to help clear that up. Another thing that's come up this week, I had a practitioner write to us. Their Better Business Bureau reached out to them on what the Better Business Bureau was talking about, potentially confusing or medical claims that they were making on their website and through their promotional materials. So I went and I checked, and what this practitioner did is they had on their front page of their website COVID-19 updates. And as you know, we've had several Elaine has done it. We have done it with Dr. Myers, talking about COVID-19 precautions we need to take as people, what we need to address, how we need to be careful, wear the masks, do the whole 9 yards, be clean, clean our attachments, all that type of stuff when we're dealing with this type situation. Well, this practitioner said COVID-19 update, posted some information that Dr. Myers has talked about in the webinars, and so someone questioned that, and I reviewed it, and I got back to the practitioner from the concept that what they need to do is take that COVID-19 update off, and because what Dr. Myers talked about is there are some studies, and we found there is information, not a lot, but there is some information that talks about how PEMF, good blood oxygen, all these types of situations can be helpful in fighting off viruses. Now, she did not specifically talk about the COVID virus, but she was talking about how PEMF has been used potentially and effectively in some viral type of situations. I've talked about from the beginning for years that what PEMF does in many cases is it helps us through a virus, the flu, or something like that, more rapidly. You get through it more rapidly. It's not going to kill it. It's not going to heal it or anything like that. Now, Dr. Myers went a little further in cellular makeup and how it makes cells stronger to better do their job in a cellular manner and from an immune type of situation that could be beneficial to helping with some viral type of situations. But at any rate, so this practitioner had COVID update, talked about Dr. Myers, referred to Dr. Myers in the situation. And so I can see how someone could say, oh, you're making claims potentially about COVID. No, that's not what Dr. Myers was doing. But so we need to be clear in that. So if you have anything like that on your website and you're a practitioner, make sure that you don't make claims. Make sure you don't have anything on there that could be construed as a claim. You want to talk about health and wellness, improving the potentiality of improving blood flow and the immune system for someone to be healthier or for the animal to be healthier. And that's a good thing. So, but just be careful in what you post and how you post it, so it is not construed. I told the practitioner, write a letter back to the Better Business Bureau, tell them what you were doing, that you're changing that and taking it down. You had no reason to infer anything from a claim type of situation. Again, if you have a question, just put it up there and I'll take a look at it and we'll see what we got. Let's see. Ann writes, I can find which direction the magnetic field comes through or comes out of the different attachments. Is there somewhere I can find which direction? Okay, great question, Ann. The answer to that question, it comes out of both sides. It doesn't make any difference which way you have the attachment turned. The field will come out of the attachment in both directions. So it just gives you an idea of how to use. It's not critical which way, which part of the attachment you have up or down when you're using it. It can be possible for the signal to be a little stronger out of one side than the other, but typically the signal is coming out of both sides of the attachment as it's being used. So great question. Thank you. That people quite often ask that. How does that work with regard to the strength of the attachments? Where does the field come from? Okay, so let's see if there are any other questions. Let's see here. For animals who are very underweight, is it dangerous for them to MagnaWave them? Perhaps too much of a detox. Well, again, it depends on the weight of an animal. If you have a horse that's underweight and you want to help it be stronger and help build up its muscle tone as it's moving around, you're not talking about a situation that's going to detox easily. A small animal, on the other hand, if you've got my dog is 4.5 pounds. If you've got a dog that, let's say it's typically a 10 to 12 pound dog and it's at 6 pounds, I would not treat at high settings. I would not treat for extended periods of time. But for you to treat that animal, to treat their back for 6 minutes on a moderate setting, you're not going to detox it in 6 minutes. And now if you turn the machine as up as high as you can and the poor little thing is sitting there pulsing real hard, in 6 minutes, you're still probably not going to detox it too much or over detox it, but that's more than what you need. So in that type of scenario, when you have an animal that you're talking about that's very much underweight, just be conscious of the strength of the device. So run it lower, then higher, potentially run it shorter, and maybe instead of 15 minutes, run it for 6 or 7 minutes, and come back and do it again in an hour for 6 or 7 minutes on that particular area that you're working to treat. If you're treating the overall animal just to get it to feeling better, same thing. Treat, with a dog, you can typically lay it in the large wings, or you can put in many cases, you can take the large loop and move it around in different locations on the animal and treat it rapidly. And so you don't have to go high. So the weight is really not an issue to that degree. I don't feel that you're going to necessarily over detoxify it that rapidly. Now, if it's underweight and you treat it every day for 30 minutes for a week or two, or for a week, you could potentially cause a more rapid detoxification than what would be comfortable or good. So that's the main thing to talk about and to be careful with. Lightness of treatment and shortness of treatment time. You're still providing and getting the result that you're looking for, but you're not overstimulating the detox or the toxification of the animal. So hope that helps. Let's see if there's anything else here. Becky Russ is with us from Iowa. Appreciate that. If you have a question, simply put it in the chat box and I will take a look at it and answer your questions. Let's see, there's several people with us on the Castbox. We're glad they're here today. And we're glad to be back on Castbox. When I was out the last couple of weeks, I've got it on one of my computers here at home, and Elaine didn't have it at the office. We need to kind of update that and get that stuff so it works for us. But again, it's there and can be available for us to use. We appreciate you being with us on Castbox. I'm sure that Chris will put the link in there. They typically do. So if you have any messages, let's see here in StreamYard. So if you'd like to talk to me, 502-599-9722. I will give you a call back and we can have a conversation about whatever it is that you might like to discuss. And I'm happy to do that all the time. Let's see here. Direction. Oh, Becky's there. All right. No other calls. And we're done with that. Okay, 502-599-9722. I'll stay with you as long as you have something that you'd like to talk to me about. If you have questions, simply post them in the chat box and I will have a look at them. Let's see, the Castbox, on my StreamYard, the Castbox is not coming up to see the comments, so I'm looking at them on Facebook, and that's a little more as I've watched Elaine do to kind of keep track of that and pull it up, is a little bit of a challenge to get that handled in some cases. Trying to think here, as you know, we also are available. We have the Biohacking Wellness TV network that is on Fire TV, Apple TV, and let's see, Fire TV, Apple TV, what's the other one? Roku. It's available on Roku, so you can catch us on any of those places. Biohacking Wellness. We're putting programs up. We'll post the office hours each week. We post special interviews that we do. There's a channel on there for large animals, a channel for equine, channel for small animals, a channel where we talk about integrative medicines, integrative things that people are doing, doctors around the country. So we're developing that, and I'm continuing to add materials to it, but it is on Fire TV, Roku, and Apple TV. There will soon be an app that you will be able to download the app and go and see the channel right on the app that you're watching to keep up with what's going on. It's a lot of fun doing that, and we're hoping to develop it further to be able to have a lot of good wellness type of programming and content for people to watch on their TVs in their homes. So that's Roku TV, Fire TV, Apple TV, Biohacking Wellness. Just go search that out and you ought to be able to see that. The books are doing well. The book with Jack Canfield, The Pillars of Success. If you'll give me a call today and you want to talk about something, I'll send you a signed copy of Pillars of Success. I've got some more copies of the Miracles of Healing book ordered, so we'll be able to have some more of those as giveaways as well. but both books are doing well, and we're excited about participating in some more activities to promote your success, the success of your business, and to learn more about the integrative healing properties that a lot of people use with many different modalities, and how they're doing things to develop their business. Let's see. Becky asks, which dumb question? No, it's not. On the Zoom box, does the hoof go on the wood side or the rubber side? Hoof goes on the rubber side. In theory, you could put it through either side if you chose to. There's just a little more density and a little more resistance to the wood because it's about, well, I'd say it's a good ½ inch thick. And so that could slow down the signal. At the very beginning, when I first started building hoof boxes years ago, I patterned them after some of the x-ray boxes that doctors used when they would x-ray the feet on a horse. They were putting the foot on the clear plexiglass. In many cases, we just put a wooden top on that, put the large loop in there, and treated in that fashion with a 1/4 inch or a ½ inch piece of wood. Worked fine, but we just learned that the rubber was a little more comfortable. Didn't have to be as thick for the overall box to be utilized. So you can do it the way it's designed to be used, is to put the paddle inside the box, put the hoof on top of the rubber portion, and proceed in that fashion. Great question, Becky. Thank you for asking. Nothing is a dumb question. You need the answers. You want to understand, and you want to know when you're going to use that with your clients of what it's doing, how to use it, and you want to be able to talk about it from that perspective. It's your confidence that you display that's going to make your business successful. And I also my accolades to Elaine for her business building class that she's been working on. I've seen some of the recordings. I've been around when she was doing it a couple of times. The results so far seem to be wonderful. The people are getting a lot of good information. And sometimes, you know, I'll tell you a story. There was a time that I was in when business was beginning to grow, and I was doing things, and I felt that I was stymied and I couldn't get over to the next level of business. I wanted to get up to a 7-figure business, or however you want to say that. I just couldn't get there. And so I went out and I paid this consultant $10,000 to spend an afternoon with him. Now, I used him for several years in different ways, but that was the deal. You know, he said, you know, I'll counsel you, and I'll go through and I'll look at everything you're doing, and I'll tell you what to do and what not to do, and you'll be more successful. So I paid him $10,000, flew to California, talked to him on the phone several times, spent an afternoon with him, made notes, took notes. He analyzed everything. He had a whole series of questions that he asked me. At the end of the day, he told me, don't do this anymore. Quit trying to sell this. Go do this and approach it in that fashion. And I did, and things changed overnight. So then I came home, and we're sitting around, Debbie and I are sitting around talking and going over this stuff, and I'm telling her what Ed told me and what he thought I should do and how we should approach it, and I was going to pay attention to him and do it. And she kind of patiently sat there and looked at me, and she said, you know, you follow a lot of silver shiny objects, and I've been telling you that for 10 years. But the truth of the matter is, sometimes you got to step out. Sometimes you need to open yourself up, pay for something if you will, but open yourself up to listen. And if you don't listen and you don't pay attention to what's available to you, it doesn't work the way you want it to quite often. And that's something that happened to me. That gentleman, still talk to him occasionally. The whole process I started with those folks in the marketing world is what really projected us and made our business grow, and gave us direction and how to approach it. So I was very thankful for that. And I think Elaine's doing a great job. So if you haven't signed up for the marketing classes and the business growth classes that she's doing, please do that. I think you'll enjoy it. I think it'll be great for you to grow and learn for your business or anything. As Elaine's pointed out, it doesn't make any difference. If you're doing MagnaWave and you want to add another LZR to your MagnaWave, or you're going to add some supplements to what's going on, and you want to do this, then there's a way to do it. There's a way to integrate it that really works very well. So it's always exciting to pursue that and approach things in that fashion for your success. So we're certainly always glad to see people successful in what they're doing. Also, we received a question today from a practitioner who was having some issues with her app. As Chris has pointed out to me, Apple has a new operating system that they've launched that everybody's downloading on their phones. He told me a week or two ago, don't do it. Let's make sure that, because there's a lot of apps that need to change the back end of their apps so they work on the new iOS, and so don't do it. But he told me coming into today's call and office hours that it's working great. The app works great with the new upgrades to the Apple system. So if you've been experiencing any problems as things have been progressing, we've been trying to keep that cleared up. If you have any challenges, if anything pops up when they do new iOS systems like this or new software updates on the phone, if you're having a particular problem, please let us know, because you may not be the only one, and we want to make sure that we get your problem taken care of. And so that's kind of where we are with the apps. I'm going to upload. I'm looking forward to downloading the new or upgrading my phone to the new systems because they're talking about a lot of different things that how the phone operates now is different. So I'm looking forward to that, and you can keep that in mind as well. Okay, let's see here. My wife, Chad asked a question. My wife has a herniated disc and has horrible sciatic nerve pain anytime she uses the MagnaWave. It seems to get worse. Do you know why this might be? Well, obviously, you need to look for where she's having the issue. And sometimes, as Dr. Marty has always pointed out when he's talking about it, sometimes you got to get over a plateau to get it. Sometimes it's going to hurt before it gets better. And so two things. I would look at the strength with which you're treating. I would, if you could call me, that would be wonderful, because we could talk about that a little bit. But you want to look at the strength. If your strength is too much, that it's exacerbating what's going on more than it gets a chance to promote the healing of what's going on, you want to take a look at that. Second thing is the length of treatment. If you're doing it, you need to address that. How long you're treating, what the strength you're treating, and where you are treating. If it's a herniated disc and it's radiating down the leg, you got to get that in a condition. What happens sometimes, what's happened with some horses, you go and you treat the animal and the animal's, it's wonderful. Then the animal goes out and it's feeling a little better. And so it exerts itself a little more than what it's been doing. And all of a sudden it comes back, oh, not so happy. And so it takes time for all of this to go. Now, what I don't have is, again, how many times you've treated. I don't know what the intensity is you're using, but I would go, and here's another thing. If instead of treating right on the disc, maybe treat if it's low, treat the upper back, treat the lung area. Why? Because we want to make the overall blood flow good and the overall blood oxygenation. Where's that going? To your body, to the animal's body, and then that will help other areas of the body as you're going. So, and the other thing you want to look at when you talk about the herniated disc, if you've been to the doc and you need to go to the doctor, tell the doctor what you'd like to do massage-wise with the mechanical massage specifics of the MagnaWave device, and get their opinion on when and how to do it. Sometimes we've had situations with an animal to where we've given it some Benamine or something to relax it, then we treat. I know some professional athletes have done that on occasion. They'll take some Advil or they'll take something to get the process started with the inflammation reduction, and then they treat. And so we enhance what's happening with those types of situations. So the medication that she's on is important, and time that you're using it, when you're using it is important. And so you need to address those things. So your question is excellent. The answer is difficult because I don't know all the specifics of what you're dealing with. But it might be the intensity, it might be the length of time, it might be how she is sitting or positioned when you're treating. And so there can be any number of things that need to be considered, and you need to basically try all of those. If you have a question specifically, call the office, talk to Aaron, one of our training people, or Teresa, and get some conversation with them, and they'll kind of help talk you through it. They'll talk to our medical director and see what her thoughts are and how to approach. And we can talk to Dr. Dreesen and get his input. And so quite often there are many different things that play into this, and we want to help you get the answer that you're looking for. But the initial thing I would do is I would treat very low. If she's having discomfort, oh, here comes a text. Let's see what we got here. Open. A question, and I do. So let's get Jesse on the phone, and we'll have a conversation here. So here we go. We're coming up.
Hello.
Hello, Jesse. How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How can I help you?
Okay, so I had the opportunity to work at a really unique farm. They have cattle, and the way they make their money is there's no bull on site. So it's all embryo transfer or IVF. And they were curious if there was a way to integrate MagnaWave into the system to help just with the overall wellness. And I think there is. My question really is, at what stage in that process, and has anyone tried it, or is there research, or how would I find more information about it? Because I think it has its place.
Okay, we have worked with some animal fertility people in the past.
Okay.
And in this situation, you still have to inseminate the area, right? It has to take. And so we want to make sure that there's good health there, good blood flow there. Everything's optimum when they're ready to do this. And so that's kind of there. What I would like to do is we have someone on our staff who is a bovine, I don't want to say, not a veterinarian or anything, but a bovine expert. That's his interest. And we can approach that and get some input there, but certainly to treat the area of insemination and the whole 9 yards as they're doing it is beneficial. To treat the animal, to treat the lungs and the shoulders and everything, which is going to basically treat the whole body and make this body in a potentially healthier situation, will be very beneficial to what they're doing.
That's fantastic, and that was kind of their thinking. They have a really wonderful nutrition program in place. Their health is really great, so they have all those bases covered. We're trying to figure out at what point in the process, because there's a couple different steps involved, would be best, and also could it increase conception rates, and has there been any kind of studies or seen any results like that?
Well, as I shared earlier, where we had the small dog, or the dog, not a small dog, but a dog that was having trouble becoming pregnant, and we treated, and the dog became pregnant, and so they were very happy with that. We have had a lot of anecdotal stories about animals, and in some cases, people who have improved their situation and become pregnant. And so, yes, it's certainly something to discuss. There are some things out there that you could look on to the various sites talking about PEMF and how it can be beneficial in those situations. But I would certainly, again, by treating the overall area, we have seen some success there.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Send an email to support@MagnaWavePEMF.com, and we'll get you a copy of the book.
Hey, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good question. And we have seen situations like that, to where people have experienced success with their animals and so forth with regard to pregnancy and fertility and so forth. I don't know. We don't get into that. We don't diagnose that. We don't say that we can do that for sure. We just know that we can go in and try to make things comfortable, make blood flow happier, and a lot of good things can come with good, happy, oxygenated blood flow and healthy cells in the body. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Chad, you're welcome. I hope that helped. If you have a question, put it in the chat box, and I'd be happy to have a look at it. If you'd like to give me a text, it's 502-599-9722, and I would be happy to give you a call back, and we can have a conversation accordingly. And we always are excited to do that and to answer your questions. Several people are with us on CastBox. We appreciate that. We're glad you're here with us on the radio portion of the program. Any other questions? Oh, let's see here. Let me just check these comments one more time. Nope, don't see them. So that part of the StreamYard is not working. That's unfortunate. So I need to go back here to, how do I get rid of this? Reply. I want to reply. I can't get back to my screen because there's a message there. So I get rid of the message. And there we go. Let's go back over to Facebook and see if there's another question that might be there on the Facebook area. Here we go. Robin asked a question. I have a horse that in June had a photosensitivity reaction to and sloughed the hair on her legs and over her hind end. Would MagnaWave help? Well, MagnaWave is going to certainly help the skin area, the blood flow through the area, which could be very beneficial to the follicles, the hair follicles, to help regenerate that. Certainly red light therapy and laser therapy. So the LZR over those areas could be beneficial to helping promote the potentiality of hair regrowth. I can't say for a fact, I don't know for a fact, but there have been a lot of things done with red light therapy with people with baldness, and can it be beneficial? We have had some people that have taken some C60. We can talk to a Max about that and make because you might be talking about a large area, but to where people have used a combination of C60 product and kind of rubbed it, put it on topically, then treat, and that's been beneficial to see some hair growth return. Certainly, I take a look at various supplementation things that would be beneficial as I talk about with people, hair, skin, and nails. If there's some type of supplementation that you can find that would be beneficial for that, for any biotin, anything that can help the hoof grow, that can be beneficial there, may very well also be beneficial in aiding the regrowth of the hair in those areas. But certainly the application of the MagnaWave over those areas is going to promote health, and if there is a potentiality for regrowth. Now, if the problem, the photosensitive action that occurred, if that killed off the hair follicles and they're not there, and then you've got a lot of different things to talk about. But the veterinarian could potentially tell you if the potentiality for growth is there, and then there's a lot of things that you can do, topical things that you might be able to have to be able to then activate, accentuate what they're doing with the light therapy or with the PEMF therapy. Great questions. We have somebody else sent a video, could not upload to the comments. Could you call me on my phone so we can discuss this? Yeah, let me do that. She wants a call on the phone, so here we go. And it's going to ring up.
Hello, Becky.
Yes, Becky, Pat Ziemer.
Yes, I couldn't upload that video into the
chat box.
Yeah, and that was a horse. It acts like you're dialing me now.
Oh, I don't know. I've got you. Go ahead.
There we go.
Turn your speakers off on your computer.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Does that help?
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay, I worked on this horse Saturday, and all I did was use the wavelengths laid horizontally down his back.
Uh-huh.
And can you see that flank area?
Oh, I can't see the video. What's it doing? Tell me what it's doing.
It was just reacting something fierce. I mean, like popping out about half to an inch or more, all through the right flank only. Okay. Behind the rib cage. And all I had done was use the wave wings long ways with the semi-5 on low. And that was about 5 minutes into the treatment.
So obviously there's sensitivity there. And it was,
well, I think his ribs were out.
Yeah.
Because I finally took the horse and put him out in a round pen, and he kept trying to lay down.
Okay.
But I guess I've just never seen that amount of reaction in 5 minutes on low.
Yeah, you know, and
I wasn't treating.
Right, and so obviously it was very sensitive. And if he tried to lay down and tried to roll, he was probably trying to readjust himself. They do that to get themselves in better position. And so what you were seeing by treating, it can very easily come from wherever. For example, my son-in-law has had a lot of problem with his wrist, carpal tunnel type situation. He went to his doctor, and his doctor said, it's not in your wrist or your elbow, it's in your low back. So let's treat your low back, let's treat your shoulder, let's treat your elbow, and it'll help your wrist. And that's what we did, and that's how it played out there. So you have the same situation in this animal where it's coming from the nerve contact to the rib area could have very well been going back to the hip, and that's where he showed his discomfort and showed his sensitivity.
I did quit on him right away, and we turned him out in the round pen, and he finally laid down, and we heard a big pop.
There you go.
So I'm guessing those ribs moved at least, but it had probably continued to react for 15 to 20 minutes after I pulled the loops off. So I assume when you see that, you just quit treating.
Well, you know, the fluctuation continued for 10 or 15 minutes after the machine was off.
Yes.
So you need to make sure that the animal's getting plenty of water. You want to make sure that there's not some type of vitamin deficiency or an electrolyte shortage in the animal. We see that a lot when an animal, when you take the coil off and the pulsing continues, quite often we have found a deficiency in electrolytes. They need hydration. They may need some other type of vitamin supplementation to help them be balanced internally with their proteins and so forth. So that can happen, and that could very well be exacerbated by the rib situation or the nerve coming off of the, you know, so it was just there. The fact that it continued is not dangerous. The fact that it continued is not something, oh my gosh, that shouldn't happen. It can happen, it does happen, but those are typically the things to do to calm and ease the situation.
Once it calmed down, because we did check that he was peeing, and it wasn't a colic issue. Right. He's a pleasure horse. Mm-hmm. And he had not been out of the stall for a while, so maybe that was it. But once that reaction finally slowed down, would I or should I gone back and continue treatment on him, or just let him be?
Well, you know, that day you didn't necessarily have to do something, but I would not be fearful of going back and treating the animal again.
Okay, because he did take him to the chiropractor.
Yeah, and so I'm sure the chiropractor adjusted him and made sure everything was good. So that would be another reason to treat him again, because quite often what happens, if they've got something going on and the chiropractor treats them, they can go out and move themselves, or if it's not totally, if the tightness of the muscle issue is still there, it can pull the situation right back out again. And so that's where a lot of times when we work with chiropractors in the past, a good friend of mine who's no longer with us, Steve, and his wife would treat the horse for 10 minutes before the chiropractic adjustment. Then they would treat the horse for 10 minutes after the chiropractic adjustment to help get rid of the inflammation. That the adjustment put things back in place, but it did not necessarily immediately help get rid of some of the inflammation, which was causing part of the problem. So
I think you're right on that, because there was like a palm or hand size inflammation on both sides of that horse's ribs once I saw that one side react. Right.
So you just, you know, the animals will show you, they'll tell you where they're sensitive. And that's the beauty of what we're doing. And you were able to find that. And the reason you found it with the large wings, just to better explain this, you could have been, and you were, on the lowest setting. The deal is you're stimulating such a large area of tissue So on low, it's still, even though your Gauss level is way down because it's a large loop, but the area of stimulation is quite large, so you can get a lot of movement there, or it will show movement, particularly if it's on one side or the other. If you would then go back with the butterfly or the paddle, let's say the butterfly, and move around that hip or move around that top line, you can find pretty much exactly where that sensitivity is starting from.
Okay, that makes sense, because that's what I did afterwards.
Sure.
I just didn't continue for another half an hour.
Yeah, and you know, and that's okay. You're fine. You're better off to err on the side of, let's be cautious, let's be comfortable to this animal, and let it now get a chance to become comfortable, and let what we did help move the healing process along potentially so it can better heal itself. So you did the right thing.
On a positive note, the client was extremely happy. He had no idea that was going on.
There you go.
It's the first time the horse had ever been MagnaWaved.
There you go.
He goes, can you come back next week? Let's find some other ones with issues.
There you go. And that's exactly what happens, and you're in good position.
Good, thank you.
Hey, thank you. Send an email to support@MagnaWave PMF, and I'll send you a signed copy of my book.
Awesome, thanks.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Great calls. We certainly appreciate the calls. If you have any questions, please give me a call. Put a little note in the chat box there, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. 12:47. We're about out of time. Gosh, it flies. We started out, and it does this all the time. Get started, start talking about a couple of things, talk about a couple of notes. All of a sudden, I'm thinking, they don't care if they're talking to me. They're not going to ask me any questions. But then it pops up, and away we go. And it's always a lot of fun. And I certainly enjoy being here with you. I'm sorry I have not been able to be with last couple of weeks, but you know what? The team, Elaine, does an excellent job when they step up and do that. And, she's doing more and more of that all the time, and that's exciting as well. So always enjoy being here. Let's see if there's anything else. Suzanne, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the office hours today. We always enjoy bringing them to you. So again, don't forget to check us out on Roku, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Biohacking Wellness. And there's several channels in there. If you want small animal stuff, it's there. If you want big animal stuff, it's there. If you want bovine stuff, it's there. If you want to know about what people are doing with integrative medicine and MagnaWave, it's there. So there's a lot of interesting areas to do that. Of course, that's available on YouTube, but here you can do it on your TV at home in the comfort of your den or family room, wherever your bedroom, wherever you're watching the TV and participating with us. Let's see. Is today the drawing for the attachment? Oh, Chris, is today the drawing for the attachment? Let me go over here so I can see Chris. Is the day? It is not the day for the attachment. No, it's not today. So I guess it'll be next week or at some point. I'm not up on that stuff. I've been kind of laying low here with the. We did the eyes. I was telling you about the eyes earlier. We did the cataract on each eye 1 week apart, because we had to get a COVID test in order to do the surgery. And so they wanted to do the second surgery immediately or as soon as they could, so they did not have to do another test, which is fine with me because it wasn't a comfortable test to take necessarily. It was all right, but somebody putting this thing halfway up through your head and twisting it around wasn't any fun. But at any rate, we survived. Everything's good. The surgery has been a smashing success as far as I'm concerned. And I'm looking forward to, I got to go out and buy some regular sunglasses. That was exciting. I don't have them here. I got them out in the car, but that was kind of exciting. So some Tommy Bahama sunglasses. That was cool, and enjoying myself. So at any rate, Ashley, the attachment drawing will be at a later date, probably next week. I'll be certainly informed of that, and we'll let you know and keep you up to date for that. So if there's no other questions, let's see. Let me just give you a second here. We're sliding right along, and we certainly have appreciated you being here. We always like to know what you think and how you enjoy the programs. If there's something you want us to cover, please send us an email to support@MagnaWave PMF. It'll get to me or get to Elaine, and we'll find out, or get to Chris, and Chris can put the crew together and come up with the information that we need. And come forward and give you the information that you want to be able to be more successful in your business, to be able to understand how PEMF may be beneficial to your animals and other uses. And so we're always happy and enjoy doing that. So with that said, it's been a pleasure being here with you today. It looks like everybody's got their questions answered thus far. So I look forward to being back with you next Tuesday for the MagnaWave office hours. So thank you for being with me, and have a great day. Wave on to better health, and have a good one. Bye-bye.
I was able to ride more comfortable, confident, and strong. Well, I'm a firm believer in the MagnaWave. I've seen the remarkable response on horses, racing, and it's helped me get to the winner's circle.